Yo, what's going on, everybody? Anyways, we are back with another stream. This time it should be ACTUARILY versus MADARA. For the SV semifinals of the DOU circuit. There were many ways to phrase that, and I chose possibly the worst one. But yeah, anyways, circuit semifinals, ACTUARILY versus MADARA. The other set appears to have been pushed back to probably tomorrow or Thursday, which is unfortunate as I was hoping to watch two sets, but it is okay. We will be having a very good set today between two very good players, ACTUARILY and MADARA. I don't actually really know when they're starting, so until then, just feel free to hang around. I don't really know. Yeah, I guess. Anyways, I'm just gonna start the stream now because why not? Let's see. But yeah, anyways, these two players have made it to the semifinals of this tournament. Let's take a look at who they played to get to this point. So, invites is top 16 basically from the DOU circuit, right? So, these two players have played each won 2 games to get to this point, etc., etc. Circuit tournaments. Smogon metagame circuits. There we go. But yeah, we're in the semifinals. Finals will be posted after they're played. Yes, this is the semifinals. So in top 16, ACTUARILY took down, I want to say, Hugo in the top 16 in a pretty convincing set, I might add. Whereas MADARA, MADARA beat Paint in the first round, and in round 2, top 8. Looks like MADARA won versus Z, and then ACTUARILY beat SMB. So both these players have faced some really good players just to get to this point. Yeah, this is just gonna be a really good set potentially. The other set is, of course, FRIXEL versus RATPACKER. However, due to unfortunate circumstances, I've heard that this game has to be pushed back, so that is unfortunate. But it is life, so we move. Yeah, anyways. Why is my mic audio really low? Whatever. I guess I should be talking louder, but I don't know about that one. Literally just yapping at this point while I wait for these games. Okay, so the game is either now or in a half hour, allegedly. Bro, where the fuck did my mouse cursor go? So that should be exciting. Okay. Let's see whether they play on main or on tours. Tours would be much easier, but to each their own. I guess. Gotta go fetch this link. Okay. It should be like somewhat similar to this one. The stream within a stream. Crazy. Oh yeah, pardon the really shitty thumbnail. That doesn't really apply to this tour at all. I check the audio, I guess. Actually took down, I want to say, yeah, Hugo. And alright, there we go. This should be good. Wait, did I actually copy the fucking link? That might be just really stupid. Okay, we see actually online, so we should have the game soon. Let's go. It's time. This tour has been certainly interesting lately, so we'll see what teams we see here. Are they on tours as well, or just main? Looks just like main. That is fine. Alright, here we go. We have the game. Also tag stream matches because All right. So we see two fairly offensive teams here, but both with like a little bit of a different mix here. So this MADARA team is a more offense, like special-oriented offense team with the combination of like Spectre and Chiyu, which we've seen like a little bit across like individual tours and team tours, using probably like Spectre, although it could also be like support. Then we got the Chiyu just for damage amplification, Whimsicott for the tailwind support for the Chiyu and the Spectre. Lando T kind of just to hold the team down, and I guess Hands as well. Hands Wellspring, Lando T for that. Against this interesting team here that has Pow Knight, just physical prio spam offense here, paired with like Diancie for a slow mode. It's Diancie, Volcanion, Rillaboom for position, and then Landorus for like kind of like the special offense here. Landorus and Volcanion should be able to like hold the team down into stuff like Arcalodon, stuff that would handle the rest of this physical offense better. So if I'm looking at this game right, like from actuarially perspective, my POW gets a lot of value here. It's hitting both that Lando T and that Whimsicott for a lot of damage. You can hit the Wellspring and the Spectre for a lot of damage as well. However, the D-Knight has to be a little careful because there is a ghost type that can be immune to E-Speed, and like kind of be a little bit disruptive potentially. If this like Spectre has like Wisp or something, that could be really valuable. Other thing here is actuarially with this Diancie. If the Diancie can like safely maneuver around like the Wellspring and like the Lando T, it could be very difficult for this Diancie to remove. Because, well, a lot of this team doesn't really heavily damage it, at least not on paper. Spectre can definitely damage it a lot out of Trick Room, if there's no Trick Room on the field. There's something to keep in mind here as well. I think like Lando T from like Act doesn't really get a whole lot of value, but it's kind of whatever. The Volcanion kind of nice because you do have like a switch in into this like Chiyu and stuff. All right, so we see a Volcanion lead here. I think that's like a very, very safe lead into the Ogerpon and the Iron Hand. So the Iron Hand's obviously threatening this Volcanion, but Volcanion might be faster. It might carry like something like a Wisp to burn this Iron Hands, or it could just be like a Assault Vest with like Eruption, Heat Wave, Earth Power, Sludge Bomb, etc. Regardless. Ogerpon Wellspring probably can't do a whole lot to this Volcanion unless it fires off like a big like wood hammer into it. With POW here from actuarially a little bit in an awkward position, like threatened with a fake out, isn't really going to be doing a whole lot of damage to either of these two Pokemon on the board. So not really a whole lot of like Oko potential here from Act, at least not really threatened at first glance, whereas MADARA has that big wild charge threatened into the Volcanion. So I think my position on this position depends on what this Volcanion set is, right? Like if this has Wisp and it's like fast, it could be really, really disruptive here. But regardless, I think actuarially should consider switching this POW out or protecting it or some kind. Although, clicking Icicle Crash, there are worse things to click. Both players taking a little bit of time here. I do like the aggressive Volcanion lead. Could also be something like a substitute as well, though I don't know if you'd be able to click that. Like you kind of like, you want to make sure your Volcanion survives this turn. If something like a Power Whip and a Wild Charge go into the Volcanion, then it probably won't survive this turn unless there's like a Wisp. On the other hand, for Act, like a Rillaboom switch into the POW slot is like very, very unpunishable. Like you're not at maximum, you're taking like 40%, I think, from like something like a Drain Punch in the Iron Hands. But it also like it comes in really well on the Ogerpon. Threatens a fake out. Can let the Volcanion get an attack off more easily if Act wants to go for that. Okay, we see the Rillaboom switch on the other side. That's still like relatively safe, right? Like you're gonna at most you're catching like a wild charge into this slot, but yeah. But that actually does a lot of damage with the POW on the field. That just feels like a lot of damage for Rillaboom to take. Maybe not a bulky Rillaboom, unsure. But anyways, protects the POW, catches the Ivy Cudgel there, and threatens to fake out this turn. Just a safe repositioning there by Act, although I think like neither of Madara's Pokemon are super threatened. Like Rillaboom is threatening a lot of damage here with like a POW boosted like Woodhammer, but we see an Ice Spinner that actually removes his own terrain, so that's like kind of unideal. We see a Stomping Tantrum. Like High Horsepower would have gotten that kill, and POW would not have died, but because it was Stomping Tantrum, the Iron Hands actually lived that double up. Really big choice of move decision there, right? Like the extra 20 base power really meant that Iron Hands was dead, but instead it lives on this turn. But a strange turn from Actuarily, like clicking Ice Spinner to remove his own terrain. Maybe more of like a stopgap measure, not wanting to click like inaccurate moves, I guess, there, right? Like avoiding clicking Icicle Crash, avoiding clicking High Horsepower, both moves that have small chances to miss. But anyways, the Iron Hands is relatively chipped, so that's good news for Act. Like that Muzzlemon that like looked a little bit difficult to remove, but in the process you've given up your POW, which I don't think is like the worst trade in the world, because like POW didn't have the most insane matchup here. Plus, like, it did damage to, like, one of the main targets that was annoying for the team. But Volcanion just comes in here, threatening like a Heat Wave here that'll just pick off the Iron Hands and do a little bit of chip to the Wellspring. Volcanion, you can't really click Steam Eruption to that Iron Hand slot for free, because there could be a Follow Me from this Ogerpon, but Steam Eruption would hit like that slot for a lot of damage. But I think we're just going to see a Heat Wave following this U-turn. So the Ogerpon probably dies here to this Heat Wave double up, but does get a pretty big power rip off into that Volcanion. Funnily enough, not boosted by the terrain. If it was boosted by the terrain, it would have done a lot more damage, but the POW clicked Ice Spinner the turn before, so that did not happen. So what does Actuarily go out here? DNC, yeah, that's fair. The Wellspring down, that's a lot of Heat Wave damage. That is a no bulk Spectre. So Spectre in position to maybe do a lot of damage to this DNC. Like if a Chi-Yu comes out here, that might be a really good way to threaten the board. But just seeing Iron Hands for that fake out support. Hands on kind of its last life here, but it can click a fake out into the DNC slot in the last Spectre to get a big Shadow Ball off into the Volcanion, which might be a KO if it's not Assault Vest, but it is very well could be Assault Vest Volcanion. Alright, we see the Rillaboom come out here. DNC is just going to protect in the face of that fake out, and the Rillaboom is just going to take a Shadow Ball. They have the Assault Vest Rillaboom absorbs that relatively well, taking 47%. It is dead to another one, but it threatens its own Glide, so Glide will pick off the Spectre unless like Madara goes out into Land OT and gets like an Intimidate drop onto the Rillaboom. But DNC relatively free to just like set Trick Room here, I think, because okay, we see a Glide with into the Terra. DNC actually lives. Do we see a Heavy Slam? That could be really critical here. Yeah, we see a Heavy Slam. Iron Hands lives the Glide just barely with that Terra and knocks out the DNC in one hit. That was very unfortunate. Wow. Big turn for Madara here. The Spectre gets a boost, and it can't be E-Speed because it's a Ghost type, right? So I think DNC probably takes one more kill here, to be honest, with that Specs boosted +1 Shadow Ball into either the 50% HP Volcanion or the Lando. Unfortunate turn for Act. That Hands was like really low. Definitely expected that to go down. As well as Heavy Slam. That's not like a super common choice on Iron Hands these days because Flutter is no longer in the metagame. But it does make the Iron Hands matchup into DNC very favored for the Iron Hands. So big turn there for Madara. Actually, it doesn't have a whole lot of options here, but he can like go out into like D-Knight, probably threaten an E-Speed into that Hands, or not. Just goes out into the Volcanion. I think the only way out here, I'd say, is like this has to be like Scarf Lando, which would allow like Lando to just get remove the Spectre and maybe get a little bit of value for Act here. But otherwise, like, it looks really rough. Like I don't really see a way to stop Spectre from taking another kill into this board. In which case, like, Act goes down to his final two Mons. Okay, it is Scarf, so that's big for Act. Unfortunately, the Iron Hands is actually faster than the Volcanion, so he will go down to his final two Pokemon anyways. But removing that that Spectre is good. However, you're now locked into Earth power, and so that means you no longer can actually hit this Lando T with your Lando, because your choice locked into Earth power. Act does still have Terra, so this D-Knight might be able to get like one big final Terra E-speed off into either the Lando T or the Whimsicott. So yeah, I think D-Knight able to potentially click a CB Terra normal E-speed into this Lando T, but doesn't have its POW to support its damage. The sled game's rough for Act, but D-Knight is like a very bulky Pokemon. Might be able to trade away with this Lando T, but I think all Lando T needs to do is like do a little bit of chip to this D-Knight. I'm not sure I really like the Lando T coming out first for Madara. I think like if you want out into like Chi-Yu first, you could get like a big Tailwind plus like Heat Wave or something off into this Lando I. This is a little bit tricky, because the D-Knight can do a lot of damage here. It probably doesn't threaten an Oko because it doesn't have quite that damage output. But basically, if Madara can kill this D-Knight while having Whimsicott alive, the Lando T will just beat the Lando I 1v1. As we see a Stone Edge, it doesn't do a whole lot to the D-Knight because it Terras. So it really comes down to, does this Terra normal E-speed with Choice Band to Oko the Chi-Yu? Because if it does, Actuarially can still have a chance. But the Dragonite has to do a lot of work here. The other out is, of course, like the Chi-Yu is somehow slower than the Scarf Lando I under Tailwind, which is possible if it's like no speed Chi-Yu, but that seems unlikely. But D-Knight has to get a lot of damage off here in this endgame, otherwise it's impossible. We see a Stone Edge, a critical hit into the D-Knight, and an overheat. So the D-Knight, the Lando I dies. That's fair, I guess. E-Speed goes into the Sash to you. Okay, if it was Sash, like the game was definitely over. So big Stone Edge into the D-Knight. D-Knight goes down. Madara takes game 1. Interesting endgame here, to be honest. I think like there was a lot of different ways that could have gone depending on the sets, but the Lando T just had just enough damage output to remove that D-Knight before. I think, to be honest, I really don't like the way the E-Speed went out into the Whimsicott before. I think you did the E-Speed the Lando T the turn before, if you were Act. Bunch of kind of strange turns at this game. Yeah, I feel like the Whimsicott just didn't have a whole lot of board pressure, so I don't really see why you would have wanted to remove that first. It was like a little rough. You had to like, I think what you had to do was like chip both slots down before the Chi-Yu came in, somehow. But even then, with like the Sash, the Chi-Yu probably still could have been like really annoyed in the end game and potentially cleaned up. But I think you just couldn't give the Chi-Yu that immediate switching. But I don't know if it was really possible for Act from this board. I think Act won this game if you like, if the DHC survived for that one turn. So if like the Terra was burned to live the Heavy Slam, but it was like, it's obviously like kind of hard to predict that like Terra Grass is gonna come out from the hands and it was gonna live the Glide. That was a pretty good game 1. We'll see what these two players bring in game 2. But yeah, I think like getting 0 value out of the DNC there. But that was a really, really smart Terra from Madara's end. I'm not gonna lie. Just keeping the Iron Hands down for alive for like that one more turn allowed it to get like 2 more kills, because it killed the DNC and then it killed the Volcanion the following turn. Yeah, that was really pivotal. That's what won the game. Well, this Volcanion, like, being slower than the hands was, like, really unfortunate. So that was probably, like, the Volcanion could have been slow because it was paired with DNC stuff, but, the hands also just could have been passed, because sometimes we see, like, hands that gets up to, like, 177 speed, so Volcanion's natural speed is 176. So that's an interaction that arises occasionally. Do we have game 2? Not have game 2 yet. United put in a lot of work. Almost brought back this game. It was like potentially winnable with misses at the end here. Maybe not, because I guess I could have just clicked Dark Pulse twice, but maybe with enough Stone Edge misses, the Act could have won this game. I think that like the Lando T must have been choice locked because it was just clicking Stone Edge. Faster than the Chiyu. Yeah, it was just Scarf Lando T. Fair enough. Sometimes I miss things. Oh, what's up, Big Warrior? Did not see you. Why am I not hearing you? What the hell? Wait, Big Warrior, say something? Like, why am I... Okay, I literally just had my like headphones unplugged. What the hell? Would it be a stream without technical difficulties? Probably not. Bruh. Let's see. Okay, I think Discord is just tweaking. Donde está game 2? Wait, can you guys hear me now in VC? Okay, never mind. Hello? Bruh. Okay, well. Apparently this does not want to work. I know OBS is picking up my audio, but I don't know if like the other people in the call can hear me. Red Zone, can you hear me? Bruh. Okay, I can't hear you. It's really fucking annoying. Okay, no, I literally can't hear you. Whatever. That's annoying. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna play Ninja in this shit. Oh, we have game 2. Let's go. Okay, so we see like an interesting raid team here from Act. This is kind of similar to some stuff we've seen before with like Grimmsnarl screens with our Caledon. Interesting like walking way conclusion here. And then another variant of Pow Knight we see this time from Madara with Glamora, Sinistra, Iron Hands, Ogrepon Wellspring. We see the Glamora and Iron Hands lead into the Arcalodon and Grimmsnarl. Pelipper will switch in here as the rocks go up and an SD goes up. So generally aggressive turn there for Madara. Gets his rocks up and gets an SD off. How will Act respond? Well, he has this Wake in position in rain. An interesting inclusion that we don't usually see this, but it covers for the Sun matchup thanks to doing well in both Sun and Rain. Threatening to bust out like a really powerful water move here with Rain up, potentially like a Specs. We see it's actually slower than the Glamora and the Pelipper. Oh, is this like Dragon Tail walking Wake? It's Dragon Tail and it misses and it takes 91% from Iron Hands. Okay, this is really dire. I don't even know how Actuarilly responds to this, to be honest. The walking Wake just is taking way too much damage. Missed the Dragon Tail. So the SD Iron Hands is still boosted on the field. Unfortunate. I feel like you had to be more offensive with the Wake there. Like, Steam Eruption or something would have done a lot of, not Steam Eruption, Hydro Steam would have done a lot of damage to either the Glamora or the Hands. So, like, I don't really get that play. And then it didn't even work out because you missed. So that's really tough. I can see that you're talking, but I can't actually hear any of the sound, Pick Warrior. Let's see. Bro. Okay. Hydro Stream went out into the Glamora. And Hurricane, or Weather Ball just came out into the hand. So some damage down for Act. The Glamora goes down. However, not without basically taking the Pelipper down with it as the Hands knocked it out as in return. And Pow just comes in here and threatens to pick off this Wake immediately. Grimmsnarl comes in here, can potentially get like a Reflect up, but yeah, there's a Reflect, but then the SD Hands is just going to get a big Drain Punch off in the Grimmsnarl, recover up to basically full HP. And Act has just lost a lot of resources. Like, I don't really see this, how this could be winnable, unfortunately. Sinistra comes in, gets a little bit of recovery off for the Grimmsnarl, but like, it's just under huge amounts of threat from the Pow and the Hands. Arcalodon maybe can do it in the end game with like a Terra, but like, that seems rough. See a play rough from the Grimmsnarl, but an Ice Punch follows up and knocks out that Sinistra. Play rough does do a lot of damage. Like, the Hands is low now, but like, it can probably just Terra and have the Sinistra come in and then it's back up to full and not really, or not up to full, but like a fairly healthy HP range. And then won't even really take much damage in return. This PAL can also just try to like knock out the Scrim Snarl. There's no recovery left for Act because the Sinister is dead. Yeah, Terra Bug Arch does get a lot of value here actually. And Play Rough knocks out the hand, so this could actually be really, that's a really big swing. I'm curious as to why Madara didn't really Terra there. I feel like you had to keep that hands alive. Now all of a sudden it looks really difficult. Wellspring can do a lot of damage to this Archaludon, but it's gonna need like a crit to really do like a whole lot of damage. That's actually a really big swing. Might have been being stupid, but like that position looked kind of irrecoverable. I guess like the bug Archaludon helps a lot, especially with like the Glamora dead. But like I feel like he just needed to preserve hands better, and it still could have boosted for the Archaludon. See an Ivy Cudgel, doesn't really do a lot. Electro Shot into the Wellspring. Archaludon's gonna pull a funny. Oh wait, this is now it's Calm Minds in this show. Okay, this is getting crazy. How much can this Sinistrid really do though? That's the question, right? Like Archaludon's already boosted up with a +2 attack or special attack. There's only one more rain turn, so Archaludon only gets to boost for one more turn. I think the question is here: does like this Iron Hands have a way to like hit the Sinistra? Like, does it have Ice Punch? If it has Ice Punch, it can like chip down the Sinistra, and Act can maybe like get through this just with the Archaludon boosting up and like doing a lot of damage. Could see a Follow Me here from Wellspring. It's a really big swing from the Iron Hands going down in the Archaludon terrain. We see a Protect from the Iron Hands. Okay, catches the Ivy Cudgel. His Electro Shot's just gonna finish off this. No, it's not gonna finish off this Ogerpon. Because the Sinistra just doesn't even get another combo. Okay, I disagree with like every single move that was clicked on that turn. I feel like from Madara's end, you needed to get another Calm Mind off and another like Follow Me or something. And then actually doesn't kill the Ogerpon. Instead chooses to get like 20% of damage into the Sinistra. And then I feel like Madara needed to get another Calm Mind up if he wanted this Sinistra to really have any chance of like carrying through this endgame. So Archaludon looks really difficult to stop. You really need to see like a Follow Me here. Yeah, this is Ice Punch Hands. Actually, is actually in a pretty good spot. We actually see a Draco Meteor miss. That's actually good for it's actually good for Act, because if that would have dropped his special attack and limited the the Archaludon's ability to break the Sinistra, we see Machagacha do like only a little bit of damage there. This is a crazy game. You really wanted that Draco Meteor to connect if you're Madara. Now it's like more awkward because the Archaludon still got to keep its boosts. Yeah, we do see Sinistra is faster than Iron Hands here, which is pretty huge. However, Draco Meteor does mean that Archaludon basically only gets one big attack off into the Sinistra. I think Sinistra just needs like one more Calm Mind. Like, I don't understand why it was not clicked either of the last two turns. Any possible like chip or like burn fishing, I feel like does not justify clicking Machagacha there. Okay, that actually gets to click Fast Cannon because he missed Draco Meteor the first time. Um, does the Sinistcha get a burn? It does not, and the Iron Hands turns out to be Ice Punch. So it looks like Actuarially is going to win this game off of missing his own Draco Meteor, which is really funny. Um, although it's probably fine anyway since it was Ice Punch. The Iron Hands might be in range of just getting like Icicle crashed down here from the POW. But I don't really see how Arcalodon doesn't win this game. I guess like if D-Knight comes in and is able to like E-speed the Grimmsnarl first, there might be just enough damage in this end game to knock out the Arcalodon. So I think Madara just needs like a flinch. I feel like this game was like turbo thrown though. Okay, we see a Drain Punch whiff into the POW. And D-Knight comes out. Madara still has Terra after all this time, holding on to it the whole game. But like at this point, you don't even like really want to. You can't really kill this Arcalodon on this turn, and I feel like you needed the hands to be dead by now. Alright, Ice Spinner comes out. Outrage comes out. Oh wait, that's a lot of damage, actually. And actually, unfortunately, did not click Draco Meteor into the D-Knight. So it looks like D-Knight just had enough to finish off this game. Wow, what a game. This was a roller coaster. I don't really agree with the way it was played, but I guess Madara figured he could win without the hands. He didn't even Terra. I just feel like if he Terra'd, he could have won this game way cleaner. But wow, congrats to Madara for moving on to the finals of the Invitational. And congrats to Actuarially for making it to top 4. That is quite a solid result. Missing that Dragon Tail early on was really, really pivotal. That was unfortunate and allowed the Iron Hands to just do so much more damage than it would have otherwise. And that was a cool Walking Wake tech. It's a really real shame that it didn't really get a chance to actually do anything with that miss. But yeah, we just see the power of Outrage in that endgame. That +1 Arcalodon did like all that damage, like 60%, and basically made the endgame unwinnable for Act. And also, D-Knight being faster than Arcalodon was pretty huge. Dang.